Hey friends, as promised, this video is a type of tutorial to build our CPD training into a training day for missional groups. Just to give you the context, you remember the CPD is an amazing training. It's often used as an evangelism training and of great help. How to tell my story, how to tell the Jesus story. There are training moments where the people are sent out to share the gospel. And several months ago, it came in my heart that I wondered why in all the other world zones, the CPD, the house church training, is so much spread, not in our zone, nor in North America. And probably it is because house churches are not so well seen. But our churches all over Europe, all over the Mediterranean, are full of small groups. And I call this is the sleeping giant. If we get there, that the small groups, which are often great in discipleship, that these small groups become missional multiplication groups, the result will be more and more groups, and more groups will end finally in more and more church plantings. And I would like to share with you today, in this short video, 15 minutes max, what are my thoughts, how to organize it, and then from there we can go and run over Europe to see small groups trained in every nation of the Mediterranean and in Europe so that they might multiply. First, I would like to look with you into my suggestion of a schedule. So the idea behind this, it is a 1 day's training. A 1 day's training means people don't have to stay overnight. People can come for nearby. We would look for churches who have a regional influence. Might be bigger churches, might be known churches, for sure churches which have enough small groups. So who should come? I guess the small group leader at least, but if possible, his entire group to work with them. You see here, we would start at 9:30 as a suggestion in the morning, and it shouldn't be longer than 4 o'clock in the afternoon so that people can drive 2 or 3 hours without problem. We have 4 major sessions and a fifth of the implementation plan. Session 1, seeing the empty field. So here it's about understanding the target group our small group has. Whom do we want to reach? Session number 2, it's about how do we share the gospel, how we spread the gospel seed among our target group. Session number 3, cultivating the field, means what is the discipleship plan? How do we train them? How do we bring discipleship into our target group? Because according to the target group, discipleship has to be adapted. The foundation is the same, and we all know the form might be different towards age groups, towards subcultures, or whatever. Session number 4 is then about harvesting and multiplying, how to train leaders within this group and how to multiply this group into a second group. Every session of these 4 sessions is the idea of around half an hour practical work as a group and max half an hour input and teaching. And then session number 5 is the classic implementation plan. Present us your plan for the season you define as multiplicational season. So this is the plan. I will send it to you as soon as you want to organize a first training day. I have signed some in. We have 2 already in France. We have 3 in Germany. And I'm pretty sure that many more will follow. So after having looked into our plan, I would like to show you how I worked our trainer's manual. Okay, just share this screen now with you. So to be able to transform this training into a trainer's manual for a training day, you will see, and you are free to change this for sure, but you are free to use it in a way. If it's green, I would say this must be set. This is important to be said. If it's in a yellow color like here, this can be set. For example, I took out of the PowerPoints, I took all the slides of the discussion questions out. So you're free to use one or other question as a discussion question, but you don't have this entire list, which allows you more to play with the time. The third way is it is underlined in red. So this is good to say. You might want to say this, but you don't have to say this. There is no slide. With the green, there is a slide. And then last but not least, we have to go a bit down here. You see, I have barred many texts which are in red. Just forget it. Okay, we don't need this for this training. If you go to a classical CPD training, again, it's the entire book. It's just, we want to use the same training for two different targets. Training people in evangelism is the one, the classical as we did it until now. The new one is training small groups. So that small groups might be missional and they are really multiplying. And we see a multiplication movement all over Europe. So if you want to do this training, just send me a message and I send you the trainer manual as it is worked like here. And last but not least, I share with you now the PowerPoints of our training. Yeah. So here we are. It is, you see it as one long line. So you don't have different groups. It's a training day for missional groups. We have already created slides, so you can, if you register them as those, please write down not just CPD, but in the note, I'm doing a training day for missional groups. So Stephanie in the office will know it, and you will receive the information with the right flyer so that you can do your own publicity, communication, okay? So here you see there are the different sessions. Session 1, seeing the empty fields, and then every session ends with a slide of practical questions. And I have added this. In the manual, you'll see this written on the very end of your session, last slide, practice it in red letters, okay? So and I have added this text. End of phase number 1, we work, the groups work in a practical work on, we can be called to reach different target groups, such as geographical areas, age groups, ethnic groups, or subcultures, define them. Give a description of your target group, demographics such as age, culture, number. What are the needs of the target group Jesus can answer really, so that we really get into the reflection of the people you want to reach. And what else do you know about this target group? When we then go into session number 2, spreading the gospel seeds means define the way how you want to evangelize the target group. There still is a part in the training of train yourself, giving your story, but giving your story to the target group, giving the Jesus story to the target group. And then the questions in the end, which might be discussed in the group, how can I be missional? But how can we do missions? So how can we do individual relationship evangelism and how can we do group events? Build a year's agenda where to invite the people to. So where should they come to so that we can share the gospel? How do we invite the people as a group? Then comes session number 3. Yeah, cultivating the fields. Cultivating the fields. And here again, the last slide with practical work. What is relevant to train people in your target group? Now it's about discipleship. So every target group needs perhaps a different way to disciple. A Muslim has a totally different understanding and needs a different discipleship approach than a Catholic, than a Protestant. Yeah, so a younger person needs a different approach than an elderly person, and so on. You know what I mean. Let's speak about the soft food and the solid food. And then finally, in session number 4, we have put harvesting and multiplying together. So it's one session. And the final slide here, also practical time, create the VPT. Build a vision plan timer of the cycle of multiplication of the group. So what is your cycle? Is it 1 year? Is it all 2 years to multiply? But have an understanding of the cycle and build into the cycle seasons of mission and seasons of training so that we have the balance between discipleship and mission. Okay, friends, this is a short introduction into our new way to use the CPD in our Euromed World Zone to multiply missional groups. If you want to know more about this, if you have questions, don't hesitate to contact me. If you need my notes, the books, or the slides, please write me a message. I send it direct to you. And for the rest, Get in contact with influencing churches of your nation, of your region, who already have a certain amount of small groups. Speak with the pastors, and I see they are very interested, because honestly, the great majority of the churches are great in discipleship and have a real need to learn how to multiply their groups and how to be missional. Greetings from Marseille. Hope this helps a bit, and see you soon. Bye-bye.